What's up, guys? Nick from Comic Culture here. It's time for the Comic Book Haul. Another stacked week. Let's see what I got. All right, welcome back, guys. So big shout out to Cadets Toys and Comics. Links will be down below in the description. Make sure to check those guys out and sign up for their newsletter. All right, let's get into these books, man. I'm not going to have Nick at Night this week. I'm actually going to be out of town a little bit, so I'm not going to be able to do Nick at Night. I'm going to show you what I have, but I will tell you my thoughts on Daredevil issue number 1, because I think this is the biggest book that is coming out this week. A lot of people are looking forward to this one, including myself, setting up a new status quo for Daredevil. So if you don't want to hear what my thoughts are just yet, maybe come back in like a couple of minutes, maybe, and we can continue with the haul. But Daredevil number 1, so we have Stephanie Phillips and we have Garbett on the art. So I will say this right off the bat. I had a very high expectations, unfortunately, for this book. The new show has just started back up with the next season of Born Again on Disney+. So I was really excited to get back into this one. With that said, didn't really do a whole lot to move the needle for me. The writing didn't take any chances. The story itself doesn't really do anything new and refreshing and different. There's not a whole ton of excitement outside of just the typical Daredevil stuff you might see. And like, we have a new villain towards the end of this book too that we haven't had enough time to resonate with, obviously, right? We're just going to get an introduction to the villain. We'll grow into it as we go. But like, I think the overall theme is the book didn't take any chances. Now, I can't help but to maybe unfairly, compare it to like Batwoman or Lobo or Deathstroke that came out over on the DC side for the Next Level Initiative. They're all number 1s that came out around the same side. So you can't help but compare them. At least I can't. And you know, those other books, they felt fresh. They felt new. They felt exciting. They had just the most amazing interior artwork. They had just exciting things going on, and it gave you a real sense of like who the character was and like, you know, where we might be going. Now, this book does a little bit of that too, but like, there's no excitement there. That's what's lacking in this book. It does do a good job of just reorienting the reader as to who the character is, setting up the landscape, understanding that there's some evil stuff going on right now. There's a murder mystery happening with a detective. He's on the case. We have Matt taking on a new role at this moment, meeting some of his peers in the space. So obviously that's going to spin off into something potentially, something mysterious at least. Then we have, of course, like a new villain showing up at the end that kind of defies all the odds and really takes Daredevil by surprise. But again, that's kind of status quo for this character. So I think it touched base with a lot of things that we expected for a new number 1, but it didn't really do anything new and shocking, so to speak. Now, of course, with all that said, I'm still really excited for a new Daredevil book to be kicking off right here, and I'll definitely be checking out future issues of this one, but number 1 didn't really blow me away like I was hoping it would. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are down below. Let's continue with the haul, though. We have Mad About DC issue number 1. I'm not a Mad collector. I appreciate the legacy of the Mad magazine. I just went ahead and grabbed this one because it's kind of a special one, right? So we're going to be dipping into this, seeing what's going on. We have a Panosian cover on it as well, so that doesn't hurt that we have that. So yeah, I'm excited to just kind of dig through that on a rainy day. I'm not going to probably read it this week, but I'll just kind of stack it for now. I did read almost everything else, though. We have Bizarro Year None issue number 1. Of course, we have Kevin Smith on this one. We have Eric. We have Nick on the art. We have all kinds of great creators on this. Again, it wasn't really a book that blew me away. It's going to build into something new. It's pretty much about everything except for Bizarro in here. We do get a little bit of the character towards the end, but there's a lot of setup inside this issue. So this might be a book that takes 2 or 3 issues to get going. But yeah, we have Bizarro number 1. Excited for that one overall. Is that it for DC and Marvel? Man, I got a ton of indie books though. I triple dipped, never do that, on the Ghost Machine official guidebook or handbook. Just grabbing all 3 of those covers because they all have like their own unique qualities, right? They have some just some nostalgic vibes to them, and they're just these character pages that are inside the regular issues. So there's not a lot of like, you know, interesting, great, cool new things that are happening in here. I got to go back and like confirm there's some first appearances in this one. I feel like a lot of these characters in this issue are ones we've seen before, but maybe not all the character cards. I don't know. They put a lot of them in there. I think there's going to be more of these, and there's like 5, so inevitably we're going to get some new characters. So excited for that overall. Ghost Machine's one of my favorite initiatives out right now. A lot of great books underneath that banner. So yeah, check out that guidebook if you haven't yet. Then we have Kaya issue number 34, Wes Craig on this. You can see the gears turning, right, as Wes Craig is building out this universe. Kaya's a fantastic book. We did a lot of world building in the previous issue. We built on that a little bit more, have some more conversations around the things we learned in the previous previous issues about like humanity and their place in this world. So Kai is a very, very interesting book. It reads really well in a trade though. So I highly recommend reading the trades. The single issue game is a little bit painful, to be honest with you, but issue number 34 is out. This will be wrapping up in the near future, not anywhere immediate, but he has an ending to this he's building towards, and I'm excited to get there. So continuing with Image, we have Kilroy is or was here, issue number 1. Apparently it's a one-shot, it says up there, so that's interesting. I need to go back to the solicitation and see what is going on there. Maybe they're going to spin off into a new series. It's about angels, it's about demons, it's about redemption, it's about curses and overcoming that and I don't know, redeeming yourself at the end of the day. So interesting book, interesting interior artwork. If you like murder mysteries, angel demon kinds of things, you might dig that book. So check that one out if you are. Next up, we have G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, The Silent Missions, Baroness, issue number 1. I've loved all these silent issues. This one is no exception. We have Baroness basically going head to head with Destro in this on this assassination contract that Cobra sets out. He pins them both against the same person just to see who's like the best of his group, and we get an outcome, or we get a winner at the end of the day inside the issue. I love all that great storytelling using visual art, and yeah, those silent missions, don't sleep on those guys. They're actually really fun. They're very quick, obviously, but there's a lot of meat on those bones still. One of the best books on the shelf, The Sacrificers, issue number 20. This will be wrapping up in the next issue over in I think late April. Lot of weight on this book. Lot of, you know what? I accept all my faults and everything. There's no other way around this. I'm going to now go back on the offensive. Pigeon is really pissed towards the end of this book. We're going to get some epic scenes in the next issue. Really looking forward to like seeing how this all wraps up and like how do the children play into it? What's Pigeon? What does Pigeon actually do? Does he take on his own family inside the issue? And like, what's the state of the world at the end of all this? That's what got me really excited about Sacrificers. One more issue. I feel like we can go for another 20, but I'll take what we can get, man. One of the best books on the shelf. Check that one out. All right. Lastly, from Image, we have Royals issue number 1. Derek Kirk Kim on this, and we have Jacob Perez on the art. This book was a little bit of a slow burn. You really understand what's happening towards like the second half of this book. The first half, I was kind of taking things for granted and kind of breezing through it. It's basically about two brothers. They're going back to the homeland. You learn one of them's like a gambler and the other one's kind of like their assistant. They couldn't be more different personality wise. And the game starts, right? And then you learn about like their unique abilities and what they can do when they team up together, and you get a sense of, you know, how they can get in trouble and how they've been able to maneuver in this landscape all this time. So we're going to see where it goes. It wasn't everything that I was expecting. The art is pretty simple. The compositions are pretty simple. And yeah, there's like a lot of like white space all over. It's just an interesting setup. It feels like the whole comic could have been expanded like another 5% or something like that to fill the page a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, like it was a fine story. It was pretty straightforward. Nothing extraordinary, I don't think, but an interesting number 1. Let me know if you guys read that one. Next up is Comics the Magazine, issue number 2, featuring Battle Beast on the cover. I'm actually reading Invincible for the first time right now. I'm just through issue 23 at this moment. So yeah, things are happening. Battle Beast has already come and gone from the story as far as I'm aware. And so yeah, we're going to be continuing that. I just needed like a huge good story that I could just breeze through quickly. I have some of the compendiums, so that'll hold me over for the first 100 issues or so. Anyways, Comics the Magazine, I grabbed issue number 1, got issue number 2. It's a rainy day book, just stacking it for now. Next up is Arcadia issue number 4, the Miranda brothers on this. It's not the easiest story to follow, to be honest. Like there's some characters that come and go throughout this entire thing. There's a common core and a common character throughout the main story, but there are some moments where it kind of deviates and it goes in this one direction. There's some time jumps, there's some scenery jumps. So not the easiest book to follow, but it's still a very interesting book, and it's got some great interiors and everything, and we're heading in the new direction in this issue here. All right, from Oni Press, we have Murder Drones issue number 2. Me and my daughter sat down and watched episode 2 and flipped through this book at the same time because I love seeing her, how upset she gets when it's not completely true to the source material, which is the YouTube show. This one here, this issue number 2, covers all of episode number 2 and part of episode 3, or maybe all of episode 3. They do a lot of creative story bending through the issue. They exclude a lot of stuff from the show. So this is like a really distilled, boiled down version of the show overall. And honestly, the writing and the pacing is very complicated and it's not very smooth. So I would recommend just watching the show, to be honest, on YouTube. It's free. And maybe just flip through the Oni Press book because it does skip a lot of things and you need those additional context items to, make the story make sense. All right, then next we have Speed Racer issue number 7. Guys, this is an amazing book. I love this so much. We have generational feuds in here. We have new technology pushed too far, at the expense of the driver themselves. You have all this revenge story built into this whole thing. You have the family coming back together a little bit in the story as well, Speed Racer and Pop. And so there's a lot of emotion, there's a lot of excitement, great interior artwork. Speed Racer's a phenomenal book, and all those Jesse Lonergan covers, they've been amazing as well. Then we have Roy Thomas and we have De La Torre on Savage Sword of Conan issue number 13. A little bit more of your run-of-the-mill Conan story. It follows the same pattern as you would expect. It kind of meanders for about half the book, and then you start honing in on what the objectives are, which I don't mind that kind of storytelling. It feels like more natural in a way. It doesn't seem set up or preordained. It's just kind of like they're going through their motions, they're doing whatever they're doing, and the story kind of unveils itself to Conan and his partners inside the story. So, I thought that was pretty cool. Lots of great landscapes, black and white art. It's another great compelling story from this team here on Savage Sword. It's not one of the best ones, but it's still better than most comics that are out this day. And then I got a couple of trade grabs as well. Actually, I got a new manga, Fruit of the World, number 1. No idea what it is, but it's a new number 1, so I thought I'd just grab it and see what's going on, at least stack it, maybe throw it in my manga pile for now. Maybe my daughter might check it out if I flip through it and just kind of make sure that it would be appropriate for her. But yeah, I got that one, and then I got Batman Dark Patterns, Dan Waters on this. Of course, you're going to get this one, Hayden Sherman on this, one of the best Batman books out last year. And this book is phenomenal. If you see it at your shop and you haven't read this one yet, now's your time to grab it. It's, again, one of the best Batman books out. And highly recommend checking this one out. Let me know if you grabbed it. All right, guys, there's a bunch of other books that I might be checking out, but again, I'm going out of town, so I might not even get to them. I hope you enjoyed that half haul, half quick review this week. I really appreciate that. Let me know down below, guys, what you grab and what your most anticipated books of the week are. Let me know down below in the comments. Then, of course, while you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.